those feelings kind of give you something like a childlike joy or something like that. Sounds pretty stupid and cheesy, I know, but that's what it is after all.
Today we are ranking the albums of Eluveitie, starting with Spirit in 2006. A very strong debut already for this Swiss Celtic folk metal band. And looking at the list of personnel on this record is pretty insane. 2 accordion players, 3 different types of bagpipe players, crumhorn, whatever that is, fiddle, flute, hurdy-gurdy, mandolin, and then of course the usual instruments. But all of this gets put to great use as it's the traditional folk instrumentation that is very much the star of the show here, and the part that never fails to engage even when the other elements may feel a little bit subpar. I'd say the mix here does a particular injustice to the harsh vocals, which feel too low while the guitars are maybe a bit too loud. But those issues don't stop tracks like Ategnatos and the Dance of Victory from being a wonderful time, and the entire experience just feels so timeless and mystifying. I'm going to put it at fantastic. They followed that up with Slania in 2008. First album with Anna Murphy, providing hurdy-gurdy and vocals, and now on Nuclear Blast Records. And with that definitely comes improvements to the production mix, though I still think that the harsh vocals could sound a little bit better on this one. Lots of great riffing though, with even more of a Gothenburg melodeath vibe at times, and of course more awesome folk instrumentation. Lots of great tracks here in Asmona, Grey Sublime Archon, Bloodstained Ground, and Calling the Rain. I see this rated at the top in many places, but frankly, I still find the songwriting to be a little bit inconsistent at times, and there are just some albums that I enjoy even more. So this one is also going to fantastic, but a little bit higher. They followed that up with Evocation I, the Arcane Dominion in 2009. Absolutely stunning, dare I say pristine production on this one that almost makes me feel like I'm listening to them live. Notably, this one is largely an acoustic outing, which might turn some away, but the atmosphere is pretty awe-inspiring on tracks like the Arcane Dominion. And given some of my qualms with the harsh vocals up to this point, I like that Anna mostly runs the show here on the vocals with some truly jaw-dropping performances. Also love the danceable The Cauldron of Renaissance. Not one of their best, but a great one to throw on while doing other things, I would say. I'd put this at great tier. Then we got Everything Remains As It Never Was in 2010. The opening of this one reminds me of Panopticon, back to full folk metal, but also a weaker production again, if you ask me. Again, the screams and guitars just feel so thin despite the fun riffing. I'm again much more drawn to the strings and hurdy-gurdy. Frankly, I think that the inconsistency and clash of the two styles is more pronounced on this one. There's very little flow and fusion between the metal and folk elements. Kingdom Come Undone, Sempiternal Embers, and Thousandfold are all solid though. I'm going to put this one at good tier. But then we got Helvetios in 2012. Their first concept album focusing on the Gallic Wars. Bit of a continuation of the sound of the last one, but with much better production and improvements to the aforementioned issues of stylistic whiplash. The title track makes for a great opener, showcasing all their best qualities coming together. Anna was supposedly more involved in the overall songwriting at this point, so it is possible that that had an impact, but I'm not really sure. And so many other great tracks: Luxtos, Meet the Enemy, A Rose for Epona, Havoc, The Uprising, Elysia, and The Siege, even bringing some harsh vocals from Anna. Incredible album, definitely one of their best, I would say, so it is going to perfection. And then we got Origins in 2014. One of their most popular albums here, considering that my audience voted for its inclusion on my best folk metal albums list. This one improves on the formula of the last album with production that I think finally truly does them justice. The guitars sound so much more effectively balanced with the rest of the instrumentation, and the harsh vocals are the best they have ever sounded. Excellent opener in The Nameless, absolutely love the pipes and whistles on From Darkness, incredible fiddle work on King, and The Call of the Mountains may be my favorite song from them overall. But really every song here is amazing, from the catchy swing of Keltos to the atmosphere of Vironus. Yeah, another one that is just incredible and probably my favorite overall. So it is going to the top of perfection, but sadly, this was the last album with Anna Murphy, Ivo Henze, Merlin Sutter, and Patrick Kistler, and it was not an amicable split from my understanding. But that brings us to Evocation II, Pantheon, in 2017. Another acoustically focused album, a few new members here, including Fabienne Erni on vocals, and as much as I love Anna, she slips in very well. Really love Epona, fantastically catchy track that I might even put in my top 10. Also enjoy Logos and Granos. And the rest of the album is just as lovely as part one, if a little more bloated, I would say. Lots of blissful folk instrumentation and windswept mountain atmosphere, though. So I'm going to put this one at great tier. Then we got Ategnatos in 2019. Decent opener in the title track, but it kind of feels like it's missing something that I can't quite put my finger on. Deathwalker is good though, and Blackwater Dawn may be my personal favorite on this one, with Rebirth a close second. The Raven Hill, Minus the Fury, and Threefold Death are also pretty strong. A little poppier turn for them with Aberramos. I still enjoy it, and the hook is pretty infectious, but I'm not sure about the vibe, if you will. And this only becomes more of an issue with the Slumber and Breathe, which I do not enjoy as much. Sort of Evanescence goes folk in the chorus melody on the former also just feels like a lesser recycling of The Call of the Mountains. If you ask me, this album is also a bit too long, but Eclipse makes for a beautiful closer. Mixed bag, but there's enough good going on here to keep me coming back. So this one is also going to good tier. It's far from terrible, but it's definitely one of the lesser albums in my opinion. Which brings us to Anu in 2025. I can't believe it's been 6 years already since the last one, and a few more lineup changes, but not as extensive as with the last shakeup. Lead single Premonition definitely caught my attention, bringing back my favorite side of the band in the infectious folk instruments, heavier elements, and clean vocals, all seemingly in perfect harmony, ripping solo on that one too. Fairly strong opener in Terranoias as well, and the Prodigal ones get surprisingly heavy by the end, as if to prove that they still have some edge left after the poppier turn of the last album. Alternatively, the minimalist, vocally driven title track is absolutely breathtaking. Fabienne gives arguably her most beautiful and impassioned performance to date alongside the haunting ambience. It even made me think of my favorite moments from like Bjork. And on that note, I also really enjoy the softer All Is One, closer The Prophecy, and pure instrumental folk turn of Memories of Innocence. But above all else, they've really found their footing again, mixing very earworm clean choruses and memorable use of the folk instrumentation with some super heavy moments on tracks like The Harvest and Aeon of the Crescent Moon, and even the otherwise lighter Awin. All in all, this impressed and surprised me. It feels like a real return to form with this new lineup, really figuring out how to work best as a unit again. Very consistent runtime with great flow in terms of its dynamics. So yeah, this one is going to fantastic. I can't decide if I actually like it more than the first two albums, but it is up there somewhere for me. Y'all check out this playlist for more folk metal rankings, or this for your personal YouTube recommendation, but that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.